Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well, and welcome to tonight's bonus upload. Before we jump into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. The merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost you a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things, they really do help this channel to continue to grow and go. And yes, folks, they definitely do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to tonight's bonus upload, shall we? Tonight's first encounter. It was 7 years ago. I was with a childhood friend. We were next to a river in a small wooded area right outside of our small country town. We'd heard screaming like a banshee echoing across the valley. Afraid, we left the riverside and ventured deeper into the forest. She and I found a quiet spot and assumed we wouldn't be bothered by whatever was going on. But the screaming kept getting closer, so we collected our belongings and kept going deeper into the woods. We walked along a common trail everyone would take that leads down to another clearing on the river. People would go there to fish, and there was an old home abandoned, deep in the woods. It was quiet for a few minutes as we ventured down this path. Then we heard the screaming come back, and even closer than before. The sound of it chills my soul to this day. Then we were about 40 feet from the break in the path leading to the house and down to the river. What crossed our path haunts me to this day. Running on 2 legs, right in front of us, was what looked like a wolf. 6 feet tall, running on 2 legs. It was gray. It ran faster than anything I've ever seen. All the hair on my body stood on end. I grabbed her and started to run back towards the clearing we had entered from. We kept hearing the screaming, but we didn't dare look back. We made it back 30 feet from the clearing, and she ended up twisting her ankle after tripping over a branch that had fallen in the pathway. She was in a lot of pain. I helped her up and carried her a little. We didn't want to face what was in those woods with us. She ended up hanging herself 5 years later. I don't know if it was a dogman or some sort of Native American superstition, banshee, what. All I can remember is the terror. I've never been so scared in my life. I want to face it again. I want to hurt it and drive it from those woods. I haven't seen it in all these years. I have no clue what the odds are I will ever face it again, but I do know that I need closure. I have to know what it was in those woods with us that night. I fear for my life going back out there, but I'm done living in fear of what lurks in the dark. If anyone knows how to draw these things out, please let me know. And how do I take one down? My best piece of advice is don't go back out in the woods. Find someone that you can confide in and talk to about this, because the chances of you making it out of those woods alive if you go hunting one isn't going to be good. The chances of you finding another one when you want to find it isn't going to be good. I'm terribly sorry for your friend, and it's a hard loss, but the world doesn't need 2 people lifeless because of this encounter. Guys, tonight's first video is a very chilling kind of video. Guy is going out in the woods and he stumbles across some sort of creature with, I see red eye shine. It looks very, very terrifying. And this person that spots it sees it and takes off as well. So I don't know if it's 100%, but like I said, in all these other videos, the only one that I've ever said I agree is 100% was that Bigfoot video from yesterday. This is creepy. So that's about all I can say for percentage on it, you know. But here it is, guys. Check it out. All right, guys, definitely a creepy video. I just can't get over the experience that we heard prior to the video, and it's very heartbreaking. And you know, I really hope this person does hear this and does not go out into the woods. It's definitely not worth it. I can imagine the anger and frustration, but you're not gonna win. And I hate saying it, but it's true. Even if you do, it's not going to bring your friend back, unfortunately. So, on to tonight's second encounter. I come from a family of hunters. It's not uncommon for my mom and stepdad to go out early in the morning and not come home until well into the night on occasion. In rural Georgia, it's fairly common for landowners to lease out their acres for hunting to different folk depending on the seasonality and the type of hunting they are doing. The deer season for archers begins at the end of summer. My mom has an experience that I loved to hear as a child that as an adult had a horrifying twist. One afternoon, my parents had struck out to hunt for the day. The land they leased that particular year ran alongside a power line route. These routes are clear-cut through the woods and create a man-made field. A hunter can set up their tree stands in the thickets surrounding these fields and wait for grazing animals to come by. Around dusk, my mom started to look out for my stepdad to come and get her. He would usually help her get situated in her stand and go find his own setup further down the trail. As the sun began to sink, she saw him walking through the power line clearing. My stepdad is a brolic-type man that has a wide gait in his walk. He swings his arms a bit as he walks. He walks kind of similar to a caveman to me. Even in the low sinking light, she could make out his silhouette and could see that he was zigzagging from side to side of the clear-cut field. He had obviously forgotten where they had set her up and was trying to find her. So she stood up and started waving her hands to get his attention. At that moment, the creature she thought was my stepdad noticed her. It dropped down onto all fours and darted into the woods. making a strange growl as it did. She waited for what seemed like an eternity for my stepdad to come and get her down. She was terrified and in tears. This was an experience shared many times in my childhood when I asked for a scary hunting experience. They have plenty of them. It's not that I didn't believe my mom, but we all know that the night can play tricks on us and heighten our imagination. So when I asked for this experience in my teenage years, imagine my surprise when my stepdad speaks up. A man of few words and a lack of an imagination. He raised his head at the dinner table. I've never told either of you this, but I think it probably should. That night, the creature wasn't running away from your mother. I was walking along the line of the woods towards her tree stand when I noticed it. I smelled it before I actually saw the thing. It had a pungent odor, almost skunk-like, and it seemed a little over 6 feet, covered in thick, coarse fur. It saw me about the same time as I was drawing back an arrow and taking aim. At first it growled, then dropped on all fours and sprinted towards me as I released the arrow, knocking it in the arm. I was shaking and just missed the intended hit. This creature veered to the side and kept running. To this day, I've always wondered what this creature was. Alright guys, so the second video clip is apparently a group of people going out into a cemetery. It looks like they're looking for probably, it looks like they're going ghost hunting. Well, they end up taking a picture and you can clearly see something off in the distance that's doesn't look like a ghost. And then as they separate, one of the guys walks up to the woods and has a run-in with something that really doesn't resemble a ghost to me. Check it out.
Yep. I saw something. I don't know what I saw. I don't know what I saw. I don't know.
Tonight's final experience just so happens to come from the location that I happen to be going to this weekend. Let's get into it. So, my friend TJ and I, in 2018, used to do a lot of cryptid/ghost hunting, especially because we're from Rhode Island. There's a lot of stories of the area with crazy history. An example is the woods a block from my house that has stone steps in the middle of it, completely out of the way from everything. Basically, long story short, the stairs were from a church that burnt down long ago. Rumor has it people died in the fire, and that's why the woods are haunted. My friend B and I saw some crap in the woods as well. But with this image in your head, now you can understand Rhode Island has a lot of paranormal activity. Back to the main story. TJ and I, one night, found out about the Conjuring house. It was about a 20-minute drive from us, so we decided to check it out. It was 2 in the morning when we started driving there, and a lot of weird stuff started happening. When we got to the first road on the way to the house for reference to how creepy this area is, it's practically out in the middle of the sticks, barely any streetlights. And lastly, the energy is the strangest. It felt like we were being watched all the way to the house. When the GPS said we were 3 minutes away from the house, TJ's radio started glitching, repeating the chorus of a song R.I.P. by Jojai. Needless to say, that the vibe got a lot darker after that, and we actually arrived. When we got there, not much happened until we were ready to leave. The vibe was growing worse and longer we stayed, and then TJ heard something. So we left because the energy was something different. As we were leaving, the GPS quickly made us turn to a road different from the way we come in. As soon as we are approaching the original entrance to the street of the Conjuring house, at the time, we didn't think much of it because we were just trying to leave the area because of the way it was making us feel. This road was a lot creepier than any of the others because of how it brought us directly into the middle of the woods, with some parts not being paved, with really weird-looking houses spaced apart. Well, as we were going down the road, I looked down at my phone, and in that second, TJ starts punching my arm, yelling, "Look up, bro! WTF!" And as I look up, the strangest thing I'd ever seen in my life jumps across the road like 5 feet away from the car and into the woods at the speed of a cheetah. To give you guys a better idea of what it looked like, first, it was as tall as a kangaroo. And I mean the tall ones. This thing was easily 7 feet tall. Second, it was jumping in medium-sized jumps. Not sure what the word for the movement is, but quick. How gears work. That's how smooth and fast this thing's legs touched the ground, propelled forward, and repeated. Like in the 4 seconds it took us to drive the car to where it was on the road, it was like hundreds of feet away into the woods. Lastly, the most amazing but strange thing about it was its appearance. It looked like moving energy, a bunch of lines moving together in the shape of an animal. Its colors were crazy, a combination of a neon brown, neon dark green, neon orange, and some other less noticeable colors that sort of filled in the rest of its shape it was taking. As we drive by, we're freaking out, of course, talked about it the whole ride home, trying to make sense of what we saw. We even tried to find the road again that we were on 3 separate occasions, but we were never able to find it. That night changed my life because I never thought I'd see anything like that close. But since then, I've been trying to find answers. Yeah, I've heard of all sorts of kind of crazy sightings out there. There's a cemetery way out in the back, and supposedly someone saw something like a crawler out there. I don't know why these kids chose 2 in the morning to go to private property, but it makes kind of no sense. But yeah, anyway, I'm looking forward to this because I'm going to take full advantage of my my night hunt there. I'm going to look into the yard, look into the old cemetery, do the house, the basement, everywhere I can. And I don't think there's anything that could stop me right now. I'm so excited. So, all right, guys, on to tonight's final video. Kids are walking and they see this kind of creature on this wall. And there's one in the distance. Now, if you look at the first creature that's on the ground, not the one on the wall, it almost resembles like a raccoon or something. But then you kind of pan up and you look at this other one. And that does not resemble a raccoon at all. I'm not sure what this thing is. Anyway, here's that video clip. Holy shit.
Arriba, arriba. Ellos se atacan, güey.
No estamos solos en este mundo.
Holy shit.
Arriba, arriba. Ellos se atacan, güey.
No estamos solos en este mundo.
Holy shit.
Arriba, arriba. Ellos se atacan, güey.
No estamos solos en este mundo.
Alright guys, so after watching this video clip a couple different times, I started to, realize, hey, that is not a raccoon. We are talking somewhere in either the upper part of Africa or the Middle East. So I kind of started to look and see what animals or kind of what creatures were in that area that would resemble a raccoon. And I started to think, hey, maybe it could be a meerkat or whatnot. But whatever this is too big to be a meerkat. So I started to look through a list of Middle Eastern medium-sized animals. And there is not a large amount of animals like raccoon. You'd be surprised. There's obviously a honey badger. This may be a Hamadryas baboon, or an old world baboon. Yet they're native to the Horn of Africa, but also to the Arabian Peninsula. So who knows? Is it a cryptid? Right now, yeah, because we can't see what it is. We cannot see exactly what it is. It is in the Middle East. And I did do my due diligence to see what was out there. I was thinking maybe like a raccoon dog, but nope, they are an Asian animal, so who knows. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this bonus upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. Your support is what makes this channel so special and what continues its growth. Please, everyone, stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, our pets, our family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there. They are dangerous. Share this information with the people you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, God bless you all.